First contact crisis. Captain Maya Rodriguez stood at the viewport of the research vessel Horizon, watching as the massive crystalline structure of the Saurian diplomatic station rotated slowly against the backdrop of an unfamiliar nebula. The station's translucent surfaces caught the light of the distant stars, refracting it into a dazzling display of colors that rippled across its surface. "It's beautiful," said Dr. Elias Chen, the xenobiologist who stood beside her. "Hard to believe we're the first humans to see this." Maya nodded, her dark eyes reflecting the shimmering colors. "First contact protocols are in place. The delegation is ready." She turned to her communications officer. "Any response to our latest transmission, Lieutenant Park?" Lieutenant Soo-Jin Park adjusted her earpiece. "Yes, Captain. The Xorians have approved our docking request. They're sending coordinates now." "Well then," Maya said, straightening her uniform jacket, "let's make history." The Horizon was humanity's premier research vessel, dispatched to the edge of explored space after long-range sensors had detected signs of an advanced civilization. After 6 months of careful approaches and cautious communications, the Xorians had finally invited a human delegation aboard their diplomatic station. The boarding party consisted of Captain Rodriguez, Dr. Chen, Cultural Specialist Dr. Amara Okafor, and Chief Engineer Rajpatal. As they approached the airlock, Maya felt the weight of responsibility on her shoulders. Humanity's first impression rested largely with them. The Xorians were tall, slender beings with iridescent skin that seemed to shift colors with their emotions. Their ambassador, who introduced himself as Velex, greeted them with formal gestures that Dr. Okafor had studied from their previous communications. "We welcome you, humans of Earth," Velex said, his voice melodic and precisely translated through their earpieces. "Your journey across the stars speaks to your species' determination." The initial meeting went smoothly. The Xorians were methodical and precise, explaining their society's 50,000-year history and their role as peacekeepers in their sector of the galaxy. They seemed particularly interested in human art and music, concepts they found fascinatingly chaotic yet harmonious. Everything changed during the tour of their science facilities. Dr. Chen, fascinated by a display of what appeared to be biological specimens, approached for a closer look. Unaware of Saurian cultural taboos, he reached toward one of the containers. "Please, do not," Velex began, but it was too late. Alarms blared throughout the station. The lights shifted to a deep purple, and security drones appeared from hidden compartments in the walls. "What's happening?" Maya demanded, stepping in front of her team protectively. Velex's skin had darkened to a stormy gray. "Your scientist has triggered our containment protocols. These specimens are dangerous if released. The station perceives this as a potential contamination event." The security drones surrounded them, humming with energy. Maya kept her voice calm. "It was an innocent mistake. We meant no harm. Intent is irrelevant to automated protocols," Velex explained. "The station will initiate quarantine procedures." The floor beneath them shuddered. Throughout the vast station, bulkheads began sealing, cutting off entire sections. "We need to return to our ship immediately," Maya said. Velex shook his head. "I regret that is no longer possible. The docking bay has been automatically sealed. The quarantine will last 14 of your Earth days while decontamination proceeds." Dr. Okafor stepped forward. "Surely you can override the system." "It is not designed to be overridden," Velex said. "The protocols were established after a catastrophic outbreak centuries ago. Even I cannot alter them." Maya processed this information quickly. 14 days trapped on an alien station would be problematic, but manageable. Then her communicator buzzed. "Captain," Lieutenant Park's voice came through, tense with concern. "We're detecting a massive energy surge from the station. It appears to be affecting our systems. Our life support is fluctuating." Maya locked eyes with Velex. "What's happening to our ship?" The Xorian consulted a holographic display that appeared at his gesture. "The quarantine field is interfering with your vessel's power distribution. Your technology is unexpected in its response. Unexpected how? Chief Engineer Patel asked. The quarantine field emits a specific energy signature designed to neutralize potential biological threats, Velix explained. It appears this signature is causing a cascading failure in your ship's systems. The communication with the horizon crackled. Captain, we're losing life support. Backup systems are failing. Lieutenant Park's voice cut out. Maya's heart raced, but her voice remained steady. How long before critical failure? Velix's calculations were precise. At the current rate of degradation, your ship's life support will fail completely in approximately 6 hours. Your crew will not survive. The human delegation fell silent, the gravity of the situation sinking in. Can we shut down the quarantine field? Maya asked. No, Velix said. It is autonomous until the full decontamination cycle completes. Maya took a deep breath. Then we need to stabilize our ship's systems from here. Can we access your station's power to create a counterfield? Velix's skin rippled with uncertainty. Such an attempt would be unprecedented. Our systems are not designed to interface with your technology. Maya met the eyes of each member of her team. They all understood the stakes. 64 crew members waited on the horizon, their lives now measured in hours. Chief Patel, she said calmly, what do you think? Raj studied the Saurian technology surrounding them, his mind already calculating possibilities. Their power distribution nodes are advanced, but I recognize the underlying principles. If we could redirect a portion of their energy through a modified converter, we might be able to create a stabilizing field. The risk of damage to our station would be significant, Velix warned. Maya stood tall, her decision made. The risk to our crew is certain death if we do nothing. She turned to her team, determination in her eyes. We need to build a field stabilizer using Saurian technology, interface it with our ship's systems, and create a counter-frequency to the quarantine field, all within 6 hours. Dr. Chen shook his head. Captain, that's impossible. We don't understand their technology well enough. Maya smiled slightly. Don't worry. I got this. Those 3 simple words transformed the atmosphere. Her team straightened, a new resolve evident in their postures. Raj, I need you to study their power distribution systems. Dr. Chen, use your knowledge of xenobiology to help understand the quarantine field's biological effects that might give us clues to its frequency. Dr. Okafor, work with Velix to get us access to any tools or components we need. The Ixorians watched in fascination as the humans began working immediately, without committees or extended planning sessions. Maya maintained contact with her ship, directing emergency protocols while simultaneously helping Raj disassemble Ixorian communication panel. The chief engineer had determined it contained components that could be repurposed for their makeshift stabilizer. This crystal array, Raj explained as he carefully extracted a luminescent structure, functions similarly to our quantum entanglement communicators. If we reverse the polarity and connect it to their power grid, we might be able to match the quarantine field's frequency. Velix observed their work with increasing interest. Your approach is chaotic. Our engineers would run thousands of simulations before attempting such modifications. No time for simulations, Maya said, helping Raj connect a series of crystal nodes. Sometimes you have to trust your instincts. 4 hours into their desperate work, they encountered a critical problem. The interface they'd built would connect to the Ixorian power grid, but they had no way to remotely access the Horizon's systems to implement the counterfield. Our main communications are down, Lieutenant Park reported through a weak emergency channel. Life support at 27% and falling. Maya ran her hand through her hair, thinking furiously. Then her eyes fell on her personal communicator. Raj, can we boost the signal from my communicator using the Ixorian array? Possibly, he said, but the bandwidth would be too limited for the technical data we need to transmit. Dr. Chen, who had been analyzing the quarantine field's biological components, suddenly looked up. What about using their biological encoding? Everyone turned to him. The Exorians encode information in biological patterns, he explained excitedly. It's how their quarantine field identifies potential threats. If we could use that encoding to compress our technical data, we could transmit the entire counterfield algorithm through the emergency channel. Raj finished, already reaching for the Exorian biological scanner. Working together, the human team and their Exorian hosts created a hybrid system unlike anything either civilization had seen before. As the 5th hour ticked away, Maya connected her communicator to their makeshift device. Lieutenant Park, prepare to receive and implement the counterfield algorithm on my mark, she ordered. The transmission took nearly 30 minutes, pushing dangerously close to their deadline. On the horizon, the crew worked frantically to integrate the alien-human hybrid code into their failing systems. Counterfield activated, Park finally reported, her voice stronger through the improving connection. Life support stabilizing at 41% and rising. It's working, Captain. A cheer went up from the human delegation. Even Velex's skin rippled with colors that indicated respect and amazement. Impossible, another Exorian scientist murmured. They created a solution in hours that our most advanced engineers would have deemed impossible even with years of research. Velex approached Maya as her team continued to refine their makeshift system. How did you know this would work? The variables were too numerous, the chance of success too small for any rational assessment. Maya smiled. That's just it. Sometimes you have to go beyond rational assessment. When humans say, I got this, it's not just confidence. It's a state of mind that lets us see possibilities instead of problems. A remarkable trait, Velex acknowledged, his skin now glowing with a warm golden hue that indicated deep respect. One that my people would benefit from understanding better. Over the next 14 days of quarantine, the humans and Exorians worked together, learning from each other's strengths and differences. The Exorians admired human adaptability and creative problem-solving, while the humans benefited from Exorian precision and vast knowledge. By the time the quarantine lifted, the foundation had been laid for an alliance that would change the course of both civilizations, an alliance born from a crisis and 3 simple human words. I got this. The alliance test. 1 year after the first contact crisis, Captain Maya Rodriguez stood on the bridge of the UES Defender, a newly commissioned battle cruiser that represented the first fruits of human-Exorian cooperation. The ship combined the best of both worlds. Xorian crystal matrix technology with human adaptive systems. Status report, she ordered, watching as the holographic tactical display showed a growing number of enemy vessels approaching the joint defense line. 37 Void collective ships detected, reported her tactical officer, Commander Eli Nakamura. Their energy signatures matched those from the Proxima Centauri attack. Maya nodded grimly. The Void Collective had emerged 6 months ago, a mysterious force of biomechanical entities that attacked without warning or attempts at communication. 3 outer colonies had already fallen to their relentless assaults. The Exorian battle group is moving into formation, Eli added. Admiral Velex requests confirmation that we'll follow the agreed-upon battle plan. Maya smiled slightly at the mention of Velex. Their former diplomatic host had been promoted to military command specifically to work with humans after witnessing their problem-solving abilities firsthand. Still, old habits died hard, and Exorians valued precision and planning above all else. Confirm we'll follow the plan, Maya said. For now, the Defender moved into position alongside 5 Exorian vessels, forming a defensive line at the edge of the Ta-CD system. The battle plan, developed by Exorian strategists and approved by Earth's Space Force Command, called for a carefully coordinated series of tactical maneuvers designed to funnel the Void Collective forces into a prepared killing zone. Transmission from Admiral Velex announced Communications Officer Soo-Jin Park, now serving aboard the Defender. Velex appeared on screen, his iridescent skin pulsing with the blue-green colors of battle readiness. Captain Rodriguez, our sensors detect the void vessels will enter weapons range in 7 minutes. All ships are in position according to plan sections 1 through 17. Acknowledged, Admiral. Maya replied. The Defender is ready. As the communication ended, Dr. Elias Chen, who now served as the ship's science officer and Saurian liaison, approached her chair. Captain, I'm detecting unusual energy fluctuations from the lid void ships. They appear to be adapting their shield frequencies. Maya frowned. Adapting to what? We haven't engaged them yet. I believe, Chen said carefully, they're anticipating our tactics based on previous encounters. The pattern suggests they've analyzed the Saurian battle formations and are preparing specific countermeasures. Commander Nakamura stepped closer, lowering his voice. Captain, if they've cracked the Saurian tactical algorithms, then our carefully planned battle strategy is already compromised. Maya finished. She made her decision quickly. Open a channel to Admiral Velix, Priority 1. When the Saurian commander appeared, Maya didn't waste time. Admiral, we have reason to believe the Void Collective has adapted to standard Saurian battle tactics. I recommend immediate tactical reassessment. Velix's skin darkened with concern. What evidence supports this conclusion? As Chen explained the energy readings, the first void ships entered weapons range. The lead vessel fired, its strange phase-shifted weapons cutting through the shields of the outermost Saurian ship with unexpected ease. Saurian vessel Harmony is reporting critical damage, Eli reported. Their shields failed completely. The void weapons frequency exactly countered their defensive resonance. On screen, Velix's expression showed rare Exorian alarm. This is unexpected. We must retreat and recalculate our approach. More void weapons fire lanced out, striking 2 more Exorian vessels with devastating precision. The carefully orchestrated battle plan was collapsing before it had truly begun. No time to retreat, Maya said firmly. Admiral, request permission to take tactical lead with unconventional maneuvers. Velix hesitated only briefly. His experience with humans had taught him to trust their instincts in impossible situations. Granted, Captain Rodriguez. All vessels will follow your lead. Maya turned to Eli. Commander Nakamura, you have tactical command. Show them what humans do when plans fail. Eli nodded confidently. I got this, Captain. He stepped to the tactical station, quickly assessing the situation. All ships, break formation immediately. Random evasive patterns, maintain no predictable course for more than 15 seconds. The human crew moved with practiced efficiency, while the Xorian vessels hesitated briefly before complying. The result was immediate. The next volley from the void ships largely missed its targets. They're using predictive targeting algorithms, Eli explained. If we don't follow expected patterns, their accuracy drops significantly. Maya watched as Eli continued issuing commands, orchestrating a chaotic dance that confounded the enemy targeting systems. But they were still outgunned, and evasion alone wouldn't win the battle. Science Officer Chen, what do we know about those void ships? Maya asked. Chen pulled up the sensor data. Their hulls appear partially organic, integrated with mechanical components. Energy concentrates at those junction points before weapons fire. Maya studied the readings. Those junction points, could they be vulnerabilities? Possibly, Chen replied. But our weapons are calibrated for conventional shields and hulls. We'd need to recalibrate on the fly to exploit those specific points. Then that's what we'll do, Maya decided. Eli, coordinate with the Xorian vessels. We need to focus fire on those organic mechanical junctions, but each ship needs to use a different frequency to prevent the void vessels from adapting. Eli nodded, already calculating. We can use our communication arrays to transmit random frequency modulation patterns to each allied ship. It won't be elegant, but it will give us unpredictable attack vectors. As they implemented this strategy, Maya opened a channel to all allied ships. This is Captain Rodriguez. Forget the battle plan. We're fighting this like humans now. adaptive, unpredictable, and relentless. Follow Commander Nakamura's tactical lead and trust your instincts. The battle that followed defied conventional military doctrine. Under Ila's direction, the human and Saurian vessels executed maneuvers that changed constantly, never establishing patterns the void ships could predict. Each Allied vessel fired on different targets with randomly modulated frequencies that probed for weaknesses in the enemy's defenses. "It's working," Chen reported as a void vessel's hull ruptured under concentrated fire. Their adaptive systems can't keep up with random frequency changes. The tide began to turn, but the Void Collective still outnumbered them. 3 Allied ships had been crippled, and the Defender's shields were failing after a direct hit. "We need something more," Maya said, watching as a massive Void command ship advanced through its defenders. "That's their control node. If we could take it out." Engineer Raj Patel, who had been monitoring the battle from engineering, contacted the bridge. "Captain, I've been studying the Void ship schematics from our sensor data. Those organic components respond to certain radiation frequencies. If we could generate a massive pulse of gamma radiation modulated to the right frequency, we could disrupt their entire command structure," Maya finished. "But our emitters aren't powerful enough for that kind of pulse." "No," Raj agreed. "But if we reconfigured the Defender's main reactor to overload in a controlled way and channeled that energy through the Saurian crystal matrix in our communications array." It was risky, possibly suicidal, but Maya saw the potential. "How long would it take?" 20 minutes, Raj estimated. "But we'd need to get much closer to the command ship, and our shields can't take much more punishment." Maya opened a channel to Admiral Velix. "Admiral, we have a plan to take out their command ship, but we need cover to get close enough." Velix didn't hesitate this time. "We will provide the cover you need, Captain. The Saurian fleet is at your disposal." What followed was a coordinated sacrifice, unlike anything either humans or Xorians had attempted before. The remaining Saurian vessels formed a protective phalanx around the Defender, absorbing devastating hits as they drove toward the heart of the enemy fleet. In engineering, Raj and his team worked frantically, converting the ship's power systems for one massive burst. On the bridge, Maya and Eli coordinated the approach, finding the narrow path through enemy fire. "Reactor modifications complete," Raj reported, his voice tense. "We'll only get one shot at this." "Distance to target?" Maya asked. 17,000 kilometers, Eli reported. "Still too far for maximum effect." A massive explosion rocked the ship as a Xorian cruiser beside them sacrificed itself to absorb a barrage meant for the Defender. "Admiral Velix's ship has been critically damaged," Park reported, her voice breaking slightly. He's still providing cover." Maya stood, her decision made. "Eli, plot a direct course to the command ship. Maximum thrust." "Captain, that's a collision course," Eli warned. "Almost," Maya corrected. "Get us to 5,000 kilometers, then execute emergency reverse thrusters. We'll need to be close for maximum effect, then pull away before the radiation backlash hits us." The Defender surged forward, engines straining as it drove straight toward the massive Void command ship. Enemy fire intensified, shields failing completely as they closed the distance. "Hull breaches on decks 3 through 7, reported damage control. "Emergency containment holding. 8,000 kilometers, Eli counted down. 7,000. 6,000. "Prepare to initiate the pulse," Maya ordered. 5,000 kilometers. Executing reverse thrust. "Now, Raj," Maya commanded. In engineering, Raj activated the modified reactor sequence. For a moment, every light on the Defender dimmed as power was diverted to the communications array. Then a blinding pulse of radiation erupted from the ship, precisely modulated to attack the organic components of the Void vessels. The effect was immediate and devastating. The Void command ship seemed to convulse, its organic components deteriorating rapidly under the targeted radiation. Secondary explosions cascaded through its massive hull as systems failed catastrophically. The command ship is breaking up, Eli reported, disbelief in his voice. And the other void vessels? They're losing cohesion. Whatever connection existed between them has been severed. Without central coordination, the remaining void ships began to drift, their attacks becoming disorganized and ineffective. The Allied fleet, though badly damaged, seized the advantage, picking off the confused enemy vessels one by one. In the aftermath, as emergency repairs began, Admiral Velex's shuttle docked with the Defender. Despite his injuries, he had insisted on meeting with Maya in person. "Your tactics defied all conventional logic," the Admiral said as they stood in the battle-damaged observation lounge, watching recovery operations. "By our calculations, victory was impossible once they countered our initial approach." Maya smiled tiredly. "That's the thing about humans, Admiral. We don't always accept what the calculations tell us is impossible." "When your commander said, 'I got this,'" Velex observed, "your entire crew's efficiency increased by measurable degrees." As if those words carried power. "They do," Maya confirmed. "They're more than just words. They're a promise to ourselves and others that we'll find a way, no matter what. It's how humans face the impossible." Velex's skin rippled with thoughtful colors. "My people have much to learn from yours, Captain Rodriguez. We have built our civilization on precision and careful planning, but today has shown us the value of adaptation. And what do you call it? Thinking outside the container." "Outside the box," Maya corrected with a smile. "And we have much to learn from your people too, Admiral. Perhaps together, we can create something greater than either of us could alone." As they looked out at the stars, the beginning of a deeper understanding formed between them, between their species. The Void Collective had been defeated not by overwhelming force or superior technology, but by the unique combination of Xorian precision and human adaptability.